You know, you might think that the most incredible discoveries happen in some remote jungle or at the bottom of the ocean, but sometimes they're right there in front of us, just masquerading as something we think we already know. Today, we're diving into the scientific detective story of a little dragonfly that fooled scientists for more than a decade.
So, that's the big question, right? How on earth does a new species go completely unnoticed for that long, especially when people are actually seeing it and studying it? Well, it turns out the answer is this totally fascinating case of mistaken identity.
Our story kicks off right here in the plantations of Kerala in southern India. Think rubber trees, pineapple fields, and buzzing among them, a tiny dragonfly that local nature lovers and scientists knew about. The only problem? It wasn't what any of them thought it was. All right, so how did researchers finally crack the case? This is where the real investigation begins, where they started peeling back all these layers of old assumptions to finally get to the truth. Yeah, this discovery didn't just happen overnight. It all started way back in 2013 with a pretty standard observation. But over the next 10 years, these little nagging doubts started to creep in. Tiny details just weren't adding up, and those little inconsistencies, they eventually led to the huge breakthrough we're talking about today. So for years, the going theory was that this dragonfly was a known species called Lyriothemis acigastra. But there was this one huge clue that something was off: the geography. See, acasadra was only supposed to live in northeast India, thousands of kilometers away. Finding it in the south was a massive biological puzzle. Okay, let's look at the evidence detective style. On one side, you've got the known suspect, acigastra, and on the other, our mystery dragonfly from Kerala. Now, at first glance, they look pretty similar, but when you look closer, you see these key differences. The Kerala dragonfly had a much more slender abdomen and totally unique appendages at the end of its tail, which is basically the insect equivalent of a smoking gun. And this wasn't just some casual glance either. To actually prove their case, these researchers had to be incredibly meticulous. We're talking detailed microscopic exams, painstaking comparisons with official specimens tucked away in museums, and a deep dive into the very structures that define a species. This was serious, rigorous science. And after all of that incredibly careful work, the conclusion was just inescapable. The tiny physical differences, the fact that it was in the wrong place, it all pointed in one direction. The dragonfly from Kerala was not some misplaced population. It was a species entirely new to science. Period. So after a decade living under a false identity, our dragonfly finally gets its moment in the spotlight. It's time to officially meet the newest member of the dragonfly family. Say hello to Lyriothemis keralensis. I love this name. It's a direct tribute to the state of Kerala and its incredible and sometimes hidden biodiversity. It's just the perfect name for a creature that really represents how ecologically rich that region is. But the story doesn't stop there. Oh no. Keralensis has another surprise for us. It's something biologists call sexual dimorphism. And in simple terms, it means the males and females look so wildly different you might not even realize they're the same species. I mean, the difference is just incredible. The male is the stunning blood-red dragonfly with these sharp black markings. It's totally built to stand out. The female, on the other hand, is a bit bulkier and is colored in shades of yellow and black. They're like two completely different designs for the exact same species. So, back to our mystery. How did it stay hidden for so long? Well, its life cycle is a huge part of the answer. For most of the year, like 3/4 of its life, it's completely out of sight, living as a larva in the water. It only comes out as a flying adult for a few short months during the monsoon. So if you're not looking in the right place at the exact right time, you'll miss it completely. But this whole discovery story comes with a really important final chapter. Because, you see, it's not just about adding a new name to a scientific list. It's about recognizing a fragile new life form and what are responsibilities to it. Right, because as thrilling as it is to find a new species, that excitement is immediately followed by a really critical question: is it safe? And for Lyriothemis keralensis, well, the answer is it's complicated. And here's the thing: keralensis doesn't live in some pristine, protected national park. Its home is in the irrigation canals and pools of pineapple and rubber plantations. This means its entire existence depends on how humans manage that land. Its fate is literally in our hands. It's such a powerful example of what conservation looks like now. It's about finding a balance within the landscapes we actually use.
So when you put it all together, the story of this little dragonfly becomes so much more than just a cool science fact. It's actually a pretty powerful lesson.
It reminds us that you don't have to travel to the ends of the earth to find something new. Extraordinary life is hiding and surviving in the places we shape every single day. These farms, these plantations, maybe even our own backyards, they're the new frontiers of discovery. And they really need our attention and care. And that kind of leaves us with one final thought. If a creature this beautiful could hide in plain sight for over a decade, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What else is out there just waiting patiently for us to finally see it for what it truly is? What other discoveries are just waiting right under our noses?